Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the likes and make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. And remember, people, there's a chance to win a Chelsea shirt of your choice from the upcoming season, but you need to be subscribed to be in with a chance of doing that. So please do hit that subscribe button if you are new round here. And let's get into today's video, people. And I'm going to be discussing the left back situation at Chelsea and what's going to happen because we've got too many options in the current squad at this point in time. We've got four on the books. We've got Ben Chilwell, Marc Cucurella, Lewis Hall, and Ian Maatsen. Now, Hall predominantly is actually a midfield player. That's his preferred position, but we've only ever seen him play there once for the first team. That was away at Anfield, and he looks a little bit overawed by the occasion, which is to be expected. Otherwise, he's predominantly played at left back, left wing back, and he's impressed a lot. We've obviously got the returning Ian Maatsen as well, who's done very well so far in the pre-seasons, very much impressed on loan at Coventry and Burnley in winning the championship title last season. So he's back in the fold and has been very impressive in this pre-season. But Pochettino has warned of an imbalanced squad, and the left back area is one of those places that is massively imbalanced. We've got way too many options there, and at least two are going to have to leave, in my opinion. And the big question is, who are going to be the two that go? I mean, let's break it down, people. We've obviously got Ben Chilwell. I'm going to start with him. Signed a new contract, committed his future to the club. Could have easily left. Could have gone to Manchester City. Things weren't good at Chelsea last season. He did have opportunity to leave and go and join Manchester City if he wanted to. He wanted to hang around and make sure that he played a big part in getting Chelsea back to winning trophies again. Now, that for me counts a lot. Yes, he's been really unlucky with injuries. He's had two major injuries since he's been at the club. Obviously, the ACL injury that he picked up against Juventus under Thomas Tuchel, and then he had a hamstring injury as well that he picked up earlier in last season's Champions League. That did rule him out for quite a long time. He struggled to get back into consistent top form. We saw flashes from him last season, particularly around March time, where he was playing really well. But yeah, he has struggled a little bit to get himself back up to his best form. But I think Ben Chilwell now, one of the more senior players there, you can see the way he's been around the camp in pre-season, that he's a real presence there. He's showing real leadership. He said that he'd love to be the captain. You don't have to have the armband necessarily to be a captain, but he's showing real leadership. He's taking younger players under his belt, particularly Mykhailo Mudryk. And Chilwell is showing all the characteristics of a top guy that loves Chelsea, that wants to be here and is determined to make a success. And, for me, I don't know why Chilwell supposedly is coming in for a lot of hate online for some reason. I don't know if people are just looking for a new scapegoat. Yes, his performances haven't been amazing, but you notice when Ben Chilwell doesn't play for us that we are a significantly worse side, in my opinion. You only have to look back to when he got injured against Juventus, as I said, and our form went down south pretty quickly. Obviously, Reece James on the other side missing as well at the same time didn't help. But Ben Chilwell, when he's fit, is one of the best left backs in the Premier League. That, for me, there's no two ways about it. Yes, he could improve his defending, but he gets forward well. He's got an eye for goal. He's got a good delivery. And, he absolutely should be here. It stuns me that people think he's not good enough, or that people think we should be selling him. It literally makes no sense at all to me. And he's going to go in to the season as the starting left back, and rightfully so. He's got a goal against Wrexham in pre-season. He captained the side at a point in that game. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he plays under Pochettino and how his game develops, because I think he's a top player. He wants to be at the club, and the hate that he's getting is absolutely ridiculous. So I've got no idea why he's coming in for that hate, why people don't think he's good enough, why people are not happy with Ben Chilwell. It just doesn't make sense to me. But he's going to be the starting left back, and absolutely that should be the case. In terms of the other options, like Marc Cucurella is an interesting one. Obviously came in for big money from Brighton last summer. Yes, we overpaid for him. Manchester City were interested, but they weren't prepared to go above 50 million pounds. We did go above that to secure the player. And you know what? I was excited by his arrival. He'd done really well at Brighton under Graham Potter, was a Brighton's player of the year, looked a real good player at left back, got forward well, a bit of an eye for goal as well. Pep Guardiola wanted him, so that's saying something. His talent ID is very rarely off. And it was a difficult season. He had decent games for us at times. He did very well against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, followed that up with a good performance away at Leicester. He's had good performances here and there, but the problem is that a lot of mistakes in his game, and it's not been up to scratch for the money that we paid. Already a Premier League proven player. And you expected a lot more from him. Yes, he's had personal issues off the pitch, which can't be discounted at all. That can obviously affect your performance, but I'm not sure it can affect your performance over the course of a whole season. But basic errors have got to be ironed out of his game. I'm not sure it helped much, and I'm not making an excuse, but the fact that he's kind of versatile, can play left wing back, and obviously left side of a three. He was moved around quite a lot, and I'm not sure if that is particularly helpful to try and to build some continuity and some consistency in your game when you're constantly playing different positions across the back line. But having said that, he has to do a lot better. And I know a lot of people think he should be sold, but I absolutely feel that there's a good player in there, that he deserves another chance this season. But it's now down to him to cut out the silly mistakes that he's making and show that he's a top defender. This guy's only just turned 25. There's still a lot of potential there. I like him. I think he's a good player. He's obviously, popular around the camp. And yeah, look, I don't think it's right to sell him at this point in time. I think if a decent offer came in, Chelsea would certainly consider it, but I can't see any decent offers coming in for him. The wages are probably reasonable as well, which could be another stumbling block. But, he's been here one season. Yes, it's not been the best, but he absolutely, in my opinion, deserves another chance. He shouldn't be starting because he's not shown that he deserves to start or shown that he's good enough to start for Chelsea on a consistent basis yet. But he's definitely more than good enough to be a rotation option and play as and when required. And I feel that he can step up and do that. So, the Cucurella hate as well is an interesting one. People hate on Cucurella, but then they seem to have different standards for other players. So, yeah, look, I think it's a difficult first season, no two ways about it. I don't understand why he's been booed by sections of the crowd. That's not my style. I would never boo my own players. I don't really get why that's happened to him. But yeah, a difficult first season that he's got to put behind him. He's got to kick on this preseason. He looks happy. Yes, he's made mistakes in preseason, stepping up for the goal against Newcastle, which wasn't ideal, but he did provide a very good assist for a goal, I think, in the Brighton game. So yeah, look, I think there's a very good player in there, but he has to fix up. He does have to fix up, and hopefully Pochettino can iron those mistakes out of his game, because going forward he's not bad, but he needs to work on his defending, particularly his one-on-one defending and his decision making. They do need massively improving. There's no two ways about it. But I would certainly be keeping him around the place. So for me, it's going to be Chilwell and Cucurella that are definitely the first and second choice left backs. Now this is where it gets interesting, because there's a decision to be made now between two young players that have both made a big impact and both got bundles of potential. Let's start with Ian Maatsen then. Obviously, been at the club for a while. He was out on loan at Charlton a while back. Then he had a loan at Coventry a couple of seasons ago where he really impressed. And then he really impressed even further on loan at Burnley last season under Vincent Kompany. Particularly, he played in that left wing back slot, but he was very, very good going forward. Chipped in with goals, assists, things in the Championship team of the season as Burnley won the title. And he's had two great loan spells. And he looks a really, really good player. The only problem we've got is that where does he fit in the squad? He's done really well in pre-season. He's chipped in with a couple of goals and assists, but in pre-season he's played wide in the attacking three behind the one striker. We haven't seen him once in his natural left back / left wing back position. Now, Pochettino is saying that Maatsen at this point in time is part of the plans, but I think that can very easily change. If we sign a Mohamed Kudus or we sign a Michael Elise, then where's the place for Ian Maatsen in the squad? I still believe that Ian Maatsen could be sold. I still think he could go out on loan as well. All options are on the table for him. Because if a Kudus comes in, that takes away Maatsen being an option in that attacking three behind the striker. And then how many minutes is he realistically going to get with Chilwell and Cucurella ahead of him? I can't see that many, but I'm a massive fan of Ian Maatsen. I really like what he's been doing in pre-season. I really like, the impact that he's made and what he can offer this team. There's something different there, but you just have to think, well, he's not getting ahead of Ben Chilwell. I mean, yes, Chilwell and Cucurella can be quite injury prone, particularly Ben Chilwell, but I'd like to think those injuries are behind him. So, I can't really see where Maatsen fits in. I mean, I think a loan spell back to Burnley, for example, could be very good from a season in the Premier League, playing Premier League football, because I don't think he's actually played in the Premier League at this point in time, or if he has, it's only a handful of appearances. So, yes, in terms of Maatsen overhaul, yes, in my opinion, because he's got a lot more senior footballing experience than Lewis Hall has. But ultimately, at this point in time, yes, Maatsen's part of the plans and Pochettino's happy with him. I'm happy with him as well. I think he's done really well. But as I said, if an attacking player comes in, that kind of rules Maatsen out of filling in that area. And it also, with the left back slot as well, it's very difficult for him to get ahead of Ben Chilwell and Marc Cucurella. So it doesn't deem him surplus to requirements, but it just means that it's very difficult to see where he gets regular minutes. So for me, I'd love to keep him around the place. He's a bit of a utility man, like Loftus-Cheek was. But in the same breath, guys, where does he fit in if another attacker comes in? And can he realistically stake a claim to get ahead of Ben Chilwell and Marc Cucurella? And for me, at this point in time, it's a no. So for me personally, I would like to see him stay around the squad, but I think what most likely is going to happen is he'll go out on loan, or there's a possibility that he could still potentially be sold. And that brings us to Lewis Hall to round this video out, guys. 18 years of age, a real top prospect. He's done really well every time he's played for the club. You know, it doesn't look like the occasion gets to him for someone so young. So much talent, so much potential in his game, so much more room to develop. But, you know, the fact that he's featured sparingly in this pre-season goes to show that I think he's going to be one that's going to go out on loan somewhere. And for me, he needs to go and play some regular first-team football week in, week out, whether it's a top-end Championship loan or whether it's another Premier League loan. I believe that he absolutely is good enough to go and play another Premier League loan, play week in, week out. But it's got to be in the right side, and it's got to be where he's featuring regularly. There's no point going on loan to a Premier League team and he's not playing that often. You know, it's really going to be crucial for his development. If he can get a top-end Premier League, Championship loan, maybe a Southampton or a Leicester City or someone along those lines, then absolutely that's going to be more beneficial for me than having a bit part spell at a Premier League side where he plays every so often. The Championship's a very competitive league. We've seen a lot of players go on loan to the Championship and do really well for their Chelsea careers. Mount, Tomori, Reece James, in Maatsen, examples, all that have excelled on loan in the Championship. But I like Lewis, so I think he's definitely got a role to play. But again, you know, the fact that he's not played an awful lot of senior football, yes, he's impressed every time that he's played, but you know, he's not going to get ahead of Chilwell or Cucurella in my opinion. And people can definitely disagree with that, and I'm sure they absolutely will. But Lewis Hall is a massive potential, a lot of ability, but at the same time, you know, I just can't see where he gets regular minutes that he needs at this age and at this stage of his career to help push him on. And I feel that, you know, a season on loan, whether it's top Championship side or a Premier League side, you know, if Cucurella doesn't impress, then Lewis Hall can certainly be the backup left back to Ben Chilwell in the 24-25 season. But for me, I think it's a telling that he's not featured much in pre-season. And I think he will almost certainly be going out on loan. Pochettino's made the point that, you know, the 29-man squad that's travelled, he wants that down to 23, 24, 25 names. So there's at least 5 or 6 players that need to be shifted on. And I think he unfortunately falls into that category despite his massive potential. I feel that he will end up going on loan. So for me, guys, it's going to be Cucurella and Chilwell as the left backs. Maatsen has got a outside chance of being part of the squad, but I think Lewis Hall is certainly going on loan. That's just my thoughts on the left back situation, guys. Make sure you smash a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and leave your thoughts in the comments below on the left back situation. Who do you think should stay? Who do you think should go ahead of the upcoming season, guys? Thank you for tuning in. And I will catch you again in another video soon. Take care, up the Chelsea, and peace out, people.